I felt and saw this presence of something like a ghost.
As I was reaching for my keys, something growled at me coming out of the basement.
It was bad energy. I was sort of feeling like I was letting Satan out of hell.
I saw out of the corner of my eye what I thought was the girl falling off the roof.
I couldn't think. It was so loud and I was so terrified that I just froze.
I'm not calling for that. I'm calling because I'm freaking out here.
I felt this presence trying to push itself down on top of me very violently.
It would not go away. It was freaking me out. I look at my arm and it's got a scratch on it.
Welcome, everybody, to Ghost of Greystone Beverly Hills. My name is Clete.
And I'm Chris.
And we are those Keith brothers. And again, another exciting episode. And you know why it's an exciting episode?
I don't.
I'm going to tell you exactly
Okay,
why.
I know it's going to be exciting, but I don't know what your idea of it is.
I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
It's going to be exciting because we're going into the attic. And guess what? I did not like the attic when I was there. I had a weird thing happen to me. It's not in this show. But I did have a strange thing. Maybe we'll discuss it a little bit. That happened to myself with Chris Fleming. Chris Fleming, the great psychic medium, on a day he came up to Greystone. Just changed my life about that place. So it's the attic and then also the boys' wing. Mm-hmm. And the boys' wing had some really bizarre, crazy stuff. And one of the things I'm going to bring up real quickly, one of the things was, I don't know if you remember the episode with Ben, which was in episode 15 with Emily. That was part of this show, was going to be, but I wanted to put all the stories about Emily in one show. So that's how crazy it is. The boys' wing. Could have been Ben in there too, but we have other ones that are just bizarre and wild. So I think it's going to be a really good show. It's going to have like apparitions and poltergeist and screams and being pushed. I mean, it goes on and on. So voices.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
But some of these stories are literally so unbelievable. I mean, they literally are.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I know. That's why they're so great.
All right. Mm-hmm. How's your tea?
My tea's fabulous.
Okay, good.
Really good.
How about we do the show instead of like taking a little coffee break, a little tea break? We haven't even started. You're already drinking.
Bitterness and anger issues. That's what we should be discussing tonight.
Okay. First segment.
Yes.
Barbara Rosenman.
The lovely, lovely Barbara. And Barbara worked there a long time ago and then worked all the way up till, I don't know when it was.
She was a recreation specialist.
Yeah. And she was there
with the city of Beverly Hills.
Till like 2018 or something like that. She worked a long time and she is the greatest and a very good friend of ours. And
she is still a spitfire.
She really
honestly,
is.
This lady, how old is she now?
She's 108. Oddly enough.
She's very elderly.
Yeah.
But you meet her.
More energy than me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Going to Europe and traveling, going on the walks and all that stuff.
She
Unbelievable.
doesn't slow down.
She's
woman.
awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
she's a great lady.
So this story happened, it was like 1989 or something like that. I think that's what it was. I'm not sure.
She was with the ranger.
Paula.
Right.
But I didn't know Paula. Paula was there before I got there. Mm-hmm. But this was an interesting story about them going up into the attic. I'll leave it at that. How's
okay.
that?
That's wow. Well done.
Thank you.
Didn't tip it at all.
That's unusual.
Now I got to make sure I hit the right button.
Aha.
All right. Here we go.
Yep.
We were closing up the mansion. It was in the evening. And she had gone upstairs to turn the lights off. I was waiting for her at the foot of those stairs.
Okay, now is this the foot of the stairs, meaning the stairs that lead up to the attic?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where that bedroom is, where you walk,
That's the daughter's,
yes.
like a dressing room.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm down at the bottom, and I'm waiting. And all of a sudden she says, "Stop pushing me." And I look, and she's starting to fall down the stairs. No one is there. So that was...
So did she fall?
She caught herself. She was falling. She was at the top of the stairs. and she started to take a step, and she was falling. She was able to catch herself, holding onto the railing.
Now, what did she say? What was her response when she thought she was being pushed by nobody that she could see?
Well, she felt that there was someone doing it, She didn't know who.
But didn't that... Her reaction to that had to be interesting. I mean...
Well, evidently she has had experience before, because Paula only worked in the nighttime because she was in the Air Force Reserve out of Ventura or Oxnard, and so she worked the filming. Well, in those days, that's all we really did up there anyway, and so she would do like the night shifts.
So she would stay all night?
No. Just,
to
filming
close up.
had to end at 11 or midnight then, whatever. So she would lock up.
Okay.
So, it wasn't like her first time. So she had been exposed, and she just turned around and she just said, "Stop pushing me."
Okay, so this sounds like she was aware of the ghost within the home then.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your response to her saying that?
I kind of stood there. I was sort of dumbfounded.
Okay.
And I just said, "Let's get out of here."
All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
When she said, stop pushing me, did she think Barbara? I mean, who else was there?
No, because she's up at the top of the stairs, she said. So she's starting to come down. She's like, "Stop pushing me." She's talking to the spirits.
So she has the gift.
Yeah, Barb's at the bottom of the stairs. She didn't go up with her.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's at the top of the stairs.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, and she's like, "Stop pushing." Is that bizarre?
And there's nobody else there.
There's nobody else
obviously.
there. And so this is exactly right. I mean, Paula must have known. She had to, if she's closing up at night.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You imagine. I wish I could have got a hold of Paula for the book and talk to her about her
that would have been
stories.
wonderful.
Because if she's closing up at night, she probably had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And she's having a conversation like, "Stop pushing me," and not freaking like most people would.
Yeah, no. She's talking to it like there's somebody there.
Then she's had quite a few experiences.
Right. So, but that's not the first time that somebody was pushed.
No,
right?
No. I mean, we didn't do a story about this woman that was a ranger. I may have mentioned it in another show. I don't think, maybe I did. But there was a ranger that was walking down with another ranger, a male ranger and a female ranger, and the female ranger was walking down those stairs to go to the grand entry, and she just flew. She was shoved from behind, and she flew.
No, isn't that the one that she tried to quit, and then
Yeah.
We talked about that.
We talked about that. So no, she was pushed big time, and she could have been killed with that shove down there. And the guy who was with her said it was really bad.
Yeah,
head over heels, like down the stairs. So
right,
that's why when somebody says nothing's ever really happened here, I go, no, because I don't want to say, like when I was talking to Kristen. She goes, "Has anything ever?"
I was just going to bring that up.
Were you?
Yeah. Has anything ever really happened here? No, it's.
Listen.
Oh, look at your voice is doing your thing.
No, I'm just.
You're lying.
No, I'm not lying. What I'm saying is things have happened. That was before I even started working. That was probably in the 80s. Nothing had happened since then.
You knew there was an opportunity that it was going to happen.
There's always an opportunity. If you're in that kind of a location, there's always an opportunity.
Okay,
Something
right.
can happen.
But you don't voice it that way.
Oh, boy.
All right. Chad Nelson, Ranger Chad Nelson.
Yes, Ranger Chad
He's up
Nelson.
next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
hearing a party?
No, that's not this. He's not hearing a party. No.
That's what the note here is.
No, I don't think so. No, there's no party up top there in the attic.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll tell you what it is.
I'm
that's
sorry.
the name, the title of the town,
right.
probably. But the deal is, this is something that reminded me a little bit of Ben, who was in episode 15, remember he went up to the top of the stairs, opened the door, and the little girl was running away. Something happened to Ben after that. And this story, one Chad told me, reminded me of Ben. And let's let him tell the story. Do you have anything else?
Okay, well, no, I was just going to say he heard that party in the historic kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're up in the attic now.
Yep.
Let's see what Chad had to say.
Right.
This is bizarre. This is really cool, though. It's pretty interesting.
All right.
I did have a spiritual event that was very scary, where I went upstairs to where you would call it the attic, but as high up in the house as you can go.
Yep.
And then you can see the roof line and the beams and the girders. Well, I was up there, and I suddenly, for some reason, it was like 1 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon, I got really, really sleepy. And it was a day where nothing was going on. There was just nothing going on. And I got really, really suddenly very oddly drowsy. And I thought I should lay down for a minute. So I laid down on the carpet, and I had my radio on, and it was next to me. And I'm laying down there, and then I felt something was like trying to make me go to sleep. It was the weirdest thing, like go to sleep, almost like audio hypnosis. So I just closed my eyes, just briefly, I felt this heaviness, like I'd been sedated. And then I felt this presence try to push itself down on top of me very violently, very intensely. I was trying to get into me or something.
Wow.
And with all of my effort and all of my might, I opened my eyes, I tried to sit up, I pushed myself up, I forced myself to wake up, and I got up and I got out of there. And that was really scary.
It sounds like something out of The Wizard of Oz, where they lay down in the lilies or whatever.
Right. I think of that. Yeah. But now that I'm listening to this, haven't listened to this in a long time, but now that I'm listening to this, it might have been a suggestion by that spirit. Lay down. Take it easy.
Well, that's what you think.
I'm not saying.
Yeah.
You
don't know that. You didn't talk to him about that.
No. But it's a possibility that he goes, I just felt really tired. I think I'll just lay down here. That's an odd thing to do.
It's very odd.
You're a ranger.
Absolutely.
Now listen, so a lot of times you had time to kill on the job because you're supposed to be just overseeing the mansion or making sure people aren't trying to get in or talking to people outside. But he goes up into the attic and suddenly feels really tired and then thinks, I think I'll just lay down here. To me, that sounds like it was suggested to him, made him. If it wasn't suggested to him, then it was the spirit making him tired, because that's bizarre to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's odd behavior because especially when you're working there, the only time I remember anybody ever laying down is when we were doing 16-hour days and you just wanted to get 5 minutes off your feet.
And that's a whole different deal.
But this thing, this is very odd. And you haven't been up there. Nobody has, or very few people have. Yeah. It's not a place you want to lay down. Not in the attic. It just doesn't work.
There's a creep factor to it. And having worked there so long, I hated going up there. I'd heard stories. It was not like I felt a vibe or anything up there. It's just because of the stories I had heard and the attic, it's like the attic and the basement. Those are the things that are all in the creep houses that are like, oh, get out of the attic.
Yeah, I didn't know any stories, and I never got real creeped, but it wasn't a place you want to hang out. It kind of just didn't feel like a place you want to stay.
No,
for long.
And I'll tell you briefly, that was one of the places I went with Chris Fleming on the day he showed up from Chicago, and I took he and this like 4 other people, whatever, took them around. It was like a 2-hour tour I gave him throughout the house, and it changed my life regarding that home because it was a constant. Because he's so gifted, he was being constantly barraged with spirits trying to connect with him on his recorder. On the spirit box that we had, and then we went up into the attic, and that's where he was like seeing like, can we go in there? I'm abbreviating everything. Can we go in there? Sure. We went into the door that's in the attic that Chan doesn't like, and we'll hear about that in a minute. That he goes inside there, and I walk in there with him, not knowing what's going on. And he walks in there with his recorder going, saying, I know who you are, and you don't scare me. Not only do I know who you are, I know that you're not going to scare me. And he says this whole thing, and I'm sitting next to him like, okay, until I see something, I'm not going to be afraid. And he's standing there, and he plays it back, and it says, a-hole. Screams out on the recorder.
A-hole or asshole?
Well, asshole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it says the actual word.
Did you ever talk to him about getting those recordings?
I have that a-hole recording.
Oh.
Yeah. But I should give it to you. I'll give it to you, see if you can clean it up.
Okay.
It's being stepped on. And then the girl says, did you hear that? So I'll give it to you. I didn't think about that.
Assholes, you hear that?
Yeah. I hate these things.
All right.
But so it's stuff like that. The addict, and then the one girl said, so you must take Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. And I'm going, like, don't do that. That's not a good one. And then she plays her recorder back, and it goes, F. Screams out the F word.
Is that, do you have the recording
that?
of that?
I don't have, because it was her recorder. That I don't have.
Do they keep those?
I don't know.
recordings?
It's just another. It's another.
another
thing.
place.
Yeah, it's another. Encounter or whatever
right.
they do. Investigation.
Let's talk about
What's next.
Ranger Chan with the crank.
I was right.
Yes, you were.
How do you like that?
Yes, you
That
were.
worked out well. Okay, let me set you up with this.
He's going to tell what he's doing. He will tell you.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to tell. So, in talking to Chan about writing the book and getting ready and all that stuff, I had mentioned to him anything else you want, and he said he felt he had a feeling in the attic. And I said, well, let's go up there. So we went up to the attic, and I have to lay out the so you understand what we're doing. We're going over to, there is a crank, a hand crank in the middle of the room. Now you're going up these little stairs and into this room, and there's a hand crank.
There's a crank like this, right?
Yeah, that lowers the chandelier and raises the chandelier so that, like Steve Clark, what he's talking about is a day that Steve Clark said, Chan, you and I are going to go in there. I have to clean the chandelier.
The maids used to. That's how they clean the chandelier.
Yeah, so they lower the chandelier and do all
the
the glass and stuff like that. So Chan went in there, and there's a door directly across from where he was to do the crank, and that's what he's going to talk about.
Okay, and then he said he never had a paranormal experience in the attic.
No,
right? He never did, but he didn't like it.
But well, he's going to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hear him.
Okay.
I did have
So I was here with Steve, and he was showing me how to change this historic chandelier in the main entrance. He showed me a couple of times, and he said, hey, this is how you lower it down so the person here could reach up, to change out each individual light bulb. So didn't know anything about the attic, and didn't really hear a story about the attic and stuff. I say, okay, I can do it, Steve. I know what to do. I understand it. I know how to put the crank wheel and just crank it low enough. Just radio me when you think that it's low enough. So I went up there by myself, opened the panel, put the
the crank?
The crank in. So I started to crank it slowly down, because this is old, it's still fragile, I don't know, so it's just slowly. At the same time, up the attic, there's this 3 catwalk that leads to the attic walk. I've been through it once with Steve. He showed me, all that, but with him. But that day, I was by myself, slowly cranking down the chandelier. My attention was just kept on telling me that someone is watching. It's there. I felt a presence, but it's always towards my left side of that one catwalk door. There's the other 2. It never dawned on me to I looked at the other 2, but I didn't feel or sense anything. And again, continue cranking down, and then a second later, it just something telling me someone's there, and I keep looking at the same catwalk. So I took my flashlight out, and I turned on, and I pointed towards that one door opening the catwalk. I physically turned my body so I could focus straight towards it. At the same time, I'm cranking down, but my eyes were looking towards that catwalk door opening.
Yeah.
And then it's just an odd, weird feeling that if you ever walk at nighttime by yourself, and you will have this thing to look over your shoulder because someone's there, but then if no one's there, it's that feeling, someone is looking at you, you know, it's that feeling. So, you know, I have my flashlight on, and as soon as I could get that cranked down, and Steve changed the light bulb, it took him like a minute or two to change out 5 light bulbs. Boy, I was quickly just, when he said, okay, Chad, crank it back up, and I'm just, okay, Steve, I'm wheeling back up real fast, took off the crank, covered it up, and just walked off. I actually ran down the attic.
It creeped you out that much?
Oh, yes. I ran. I got goosebumps all the time. My hair was standing up. And it's like, this is odd. It's just that feeling. It's an odd feeling. It's like someone's watching you. It's like a pair of eyes looking at you. And it's like you walking at nighttime. You're constantly looking over your shoulder because someone's there. Or you walk into a room, you felt a presence, or it's just that odd feeling. Or like you by yourself in the dark and you felt something's there, but you can't see it. That's what I felt.
That interview was done inside the attic at that location, right where that crank is, because I wanted him to go back in and feel that and see what response he would have from that. And it was really interesting because just for those who don't everybody who doesn't know the layout, but when he does.
Let me ask a quick one.
Yeah.
When you walk up the steps, it's like the workout area that was in the attic, right? They used to have gym equipment or whatever. And then you walk up those few steps.
Yeah.
And you're in the attic. Is it the portal on the left or the door on the left?
Yes, the door on the left. So let's say you walk into a room, there's a center area, that's where the crank is. It's inside a panel on the floor.
You take the panel off, and then there's a hole there that you put the crank in, and then you can do the crank.
Exactly.
I wonder where they stored that crank.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's in the center of the room. So he would go in, walking into the center of the room, and do the crank and feel there's something over to his left. And what he showed me was he ended up going like, turning this way and crank it, looking at that door because he knew there was something at that door. Remember, he kind of has the gift. So Jan is the same ranger that when we were in our break room and Steve Clark said, hey, we got a break room, guys, now. He made that room, which was the room a woman hung herself, and we put a table right by the window that overlooks down into the courtyard so we could see what was going on while we were taking our break. Chan was the one who went there, sat down to have a sandwich, and he was like looking over like somebody's at the door and kept feeling it. Went, I'm done, and walked out.
That didn't last long.
Yeah. So
did he ever go in there to hang out? After that?
Well, he would go in, like we saw, he went in and got his coffee.
Right.
And then the thing flew off the thing. So he
never spent any time there, did he?
No, I don't think he still is. He still works there, but I don't think he spends time in the break room. If he is, it's for coffee and get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're on to the boys' wing.
Oh, okay.
All right. And this with Dan. He had a bizarre incident there at the north end of the hall.
Right. So when you go into the boys' wing from the second floor landing, there's an area that you can take north, small. It's like when you come into the grand entry, it's like a square around you up above. So this is to the left up above, and that's a landing area that goes to steps that go up these steps, and now you're in the boys' wing. And so, oftentimes at the end of that boys' wing, on the north end of the hall, there's a door. That door opens to the spiral staircase down below, and the theater and the bowling alley and everything. So you would have to go up there, and it was a certain key to a different kind of door lock. So you had to have a certain key. Oh. All that stuff. So sometimes you'd forget and go, oh, shoot, what is that key?
Okay, don't give anything away.
No. So that's what Dan was doing, was going up there, I think, to go through to the other side or lock up. I'm not sure. We'll see what he says.
Okay.
Yep.
Steve Clark, the other park ranger supervisor, we were actually getting ready for a tour.
So I decided to start turning on some lights and getting everything ready for the tour. I think it was like a 10:30 tour. And so I'm walking through the house, turning on lights, making sure a lot of the doors are closed. And I get to the boys' wing, and I'm going through the wing, and I'm closing some doors, I'm turning on lights. And then I get to what we call the door that leads to the recreation wing.
And that's like a door that you walk through and it spirals down to the theater area, then further down into the bowling alley, right?
Correct, yeah. So it separates the north wing to the recreation wing. So this door here, it gets stuck, meaning it's sticky. You kind of have to turn the knob and shake the door to open it. So, and that's exactly what I did. I came up here, turned the knob, and I shook it to see if it was locked. It was locked. So then I'm reaching for my keys, and then when I'm reaching for my keys, the door shakes, like I just shook it. And I thought someone was on the other side. So I grabbed my keys,
like mocking you or something?
like mocking me.
Okay.
Exactly. And I reached for my keys, I opened up the door really fast, because I thought it was Ranger Steve on the other side. I opened up the door and nobody is there.
And it would be impossible for somebody. First of all, Steve, I don't think would do that.
No, because I knew Steve was in the office when I was turning on lights and getting the house ready. So I knew he was in the office, but hey, you know, sometimes we kind of joke around and scare each other every now and then, but this day it didn't happen that way. I reached for my keys and the door shook like I just shook it really hard, like that. So I opened up the door real quick, I looked on the other side, no one was there.
And so what goes through your head?
They are getting my attention.
Whoa.
Yeah, and if there was someone on the other side that shook it and ran, you would hear him go down the steps.
Oh, absolutely. He would know.
Like,
well, that's at the spiral staircase there?
Yeah.
It would take, there's no way that they could get down to the bottom, especially as treacherous as that is. I mean, it's very steep.
That Dan couldn't get out and look and see him.
Or he'd hear it.
Yeah.
He'd hear it.
Yeah, so that's that area is pretty funky. You'll find out, and when we go into the spiral staircase and all that stuff.
Okay.
Wild stuff happening there. But that, to me, he had another story that we didn't do that he was...
Dan? Ranger Dan?
Yeah, that when he was in Lucy's room one night, they're finishing up a play, and he goes to the door, and it won't let him open it.
Mm.
And he's like...
Is that the door he was talking about that gets stuck, though?
No, this is in Lucy's dressing room door that goes out into the landing.
Wow!
And I think it was either pushing or pulling. And Dan's like, "What is going?" There's somebody on the other side, and then it would open, and he looked out, and there's nobody there.
Hmm.
So it happened to him a couple times.
Wow!
Yeah, that's pretty bizarre, though.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I should have talked to Dan about that just to see if he had any follow-up thoughts about that, because he didn't seem that freaked out. I know he's talking about it's after the fact.
Remember, a lot of these people, and Luz is a great example.
No, but Dan doesn't have the gift.
No, he doesn't.
So I would think it would startle him, like
I think
the
it did.
card room doors.
It did. The card room. He called Steve, saying, "I'm freaking out here." Yeah. So it does scare you for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up, Ranger Ivan. He heard a sound in the boys' wing, huh?
Yeah, man. And
what's
Ivan,
that about?
He called me about this.
Did he call you when it happened?
I think he called me that night.
Oh.
And then Juan, Senior Ranger Juan, was working that night. He was also there, but he was in another area of the property. Ivan was out in the courtyard, and what had happened was they had spilled some wine.
Right.
So Ivan was helping brush it with the guy who was left there. Because you want, if you're there and it's like 10 o'clock, 10:30, you want to just get out.
It was the guy from the rental company that was there, and he was helping him.
Yeah, you just want to go home. So you go, you know what, I'll help you brush this up, clean it up, get the chairs, and let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been it's a long day. So that's what was happening. And Juan was not in that inner courtyard at that time. He'll Well, Ivan, I'll tell you what happened. I'll let him tell you what happened next. You cool?
It's possibly like around 10, about 10:15 or so. There's a gentleman from MTB, one of the guys that's helping out, load out. So I'm standing because I have a scrub. We're about to scrub the.
Tell me where. Where are you?
We're in the courtyard.
Inner courtyard.
I'm about to scrub the slate because there was wine that they had dropped. And as I'm standing, the gentleman's coming my way, and we hear a scream. It sounds like a girl. But it sounds muffled. And we hear it come from the second floor. So we're both standing across from each other. I'd say about 15 feet apart from each other. We hear the scream. We both look up because we think, sure, where's the bird? But there's no bird.
And where did you look up?
Rec wing, like the boys' room, where the boys' room is.
Boys' wing, okay.
We look up thinking to see a bird.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And I tell him, you heard that, right? And he goes, yeah, like a girl scream. And he goes, I tell him, yeah, like that's what I heard too, but it sounded muffled, right? He goes, yeah. So I'm just sitting there because I'm like, come on, like it was like a perfect night, nothing happened. It was a great night, and so I look up and I look in the room, put my flashlight in there, nothing, and then Juan comes by and I tell him, hey, we just heard like a woman screaming on the second floor. He goes, oh, it's probably a bird. It's probably just a bird. And I go, no, like I know the difference between a bird, an owl, because we have a lot of owls out there up at Greystone, and I go, I know the difference. Like this was a girl that screamed.
So you're just walking around cleaning, getting ready to clean?
Well, I'm not even cleaning right now. At this point, I'm just standing, waiting for Juan to come back so we can water the slate down, and so they can have all their stuff off the floor as well. And while I'm waiting, and the guy's coming from the kitchen, walking westbound towards like the pond. Mm-hmm. That's when we heard it, and we both look up thinking it was a bird. We didn't see a bird fly over, but it sounded like a woman screaming. And it was just a scream like I don't know, like when someone gets scared, like a girl gets scared, And it was pretty loud, but it was muffled. So it wasn't a foot. It's not like she was coming from. It was coming from inside, obviously, because it's muffled. But I couldn't tell of it like what it was.
Okay, so you're a ranger up at Greystone.
Yeah.
You're hearing a woman scream inside the house. Did you go inside the house to check it out?
No. No.
Now, why didn't you go inside?
Because we had locked up. Everyone was out. No one was actually in. So we know for a fact no one was in there. The kitchen was all cleared. All the catering stuff was gone. And the only person coming out of there was Juan.
So everybody who worked that event has left the location? Has
left, basically. The coordinators left. Everyone left but the people from MTB. And all they had was like 2 things left, and they were all about to take off. So like I said, no one was in the kitchen, so I know for a fact that it didn't come from the kitchen, and it just echoed through the house. I know because it was too clear, but like I said, muffled.
And you could pinpoint the location?
Yeah, because right over me. Literally right over me.
And what is right over you?
The hallway that connects you from like Lucy's there, like that room to the
second floor landing to the recreation wing.
Correct. You know how there's a window there?
There's a big, like a bay window.
Yeah. And it's right over me, so like I said, I looked up thinking it was a bird, and the guy across from me looked up too because it was pretty loud. No bird in sight.
So what do you think it was?
I have no idea. I want to think it's a bird, but in reality, I know that it wasn't a bird. I know for a fact it wasn't a bird because it was too high pitched.
And there aren't a lot of birds squawking at night.
Only owls. So.
Yeah.
The only thing we hear up there is owls at nighttime usually. So, yeah, I don't want to go back in the mansion, but obviously we had to go turn off all the lights. So.
Wait, did you go in to turn?
Way after, I'd say maybe about 30, 45 minutes after.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to the boys' wing and look over there? Do you have lights on in there?
No, they were all off.
You didn't even feel like maybe I should just go check that wing just to make sure?
No, I didn't want to check. I didn't want to check, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right, well, okay. Anything else?
No, that's all that happened that day.
Thank God, right?
Thank God, yeah.
Is that fantastic? I love that, man, because I know that and Ivan has the gift. he knew it wasn't a bird. He knew it wasn't a bird. And to hear a scream is a lot different than a bird at night screaming. Come on. Now,
Yeah. Now, when he says muffled, it's like muted, probably. Do you think?
I don't think it wasn't like somebody in the courtyard screaming.
It wasn't like
that I
more
can't
muted.
even go there to hear that. Like it's being.
It was from inside the mansion. He's
Yeah.
saying so. It was that the audio was not like from outside. It was inside, more muted. Instead of wow.
Yeah, and there's another story we'll get into in a couple episodes now about a scream within that area. Wow. So I mean,
that stuff freaks me out.
That is freaky.
It's more than one person hearing it. So
right there it is.
I don't know what that means.
Well, they corroborate each other, and of course Juan is not going to say, yeah, maybe it's not. He's got the gift too. He's not going to say it was a woman. He wants them to think it's. Don't worry about it, man. It's like with Andrea saying, I didn't want to tell that, it's
Manuel.
It's Oscars.
Was it Manuel?
I don't know.
I didn't want to tell.
I think it was Ernesto. Well, it could have been Manuel.
It was Manuel.
But it was like, well, she says, it's Oscars night. They prank on Oscar night. What is? I love that so much. Yes, Oscars. So let's go prank at Greystone. That's so crazy.
That's pretty
so funny, man. That was a cool story, though, man.
Yeah.
And you could tell. I went and met with him. You could tell.
Where were you?
I think we're out. We're at Greystone for sure.
Yeah, but there was a lot of truck noise.
Well, it could be going up the hill.
Well, that far away, huh?
People. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe were they breaking stuff down when you met them?
I don't recall. Okay. I don't recall.
It just sounded noisier than normal.
Yeah. But remember, we weren't going to do these.
Yeah.
So.
All right, the next one.
What do we got next?
Kind of impossible when you think about it. This is Lou's.
Don't always have your little, disclaimer about this. There are no spirits. You just heard something, and you said to me,
"No, that's a pot." There, I can kind of go with that one.
You can go with that one.
Two people hear it. Okay, all right, and it wasn't a bird. It's nighttime. There's no. We've been up there enough times at night to know there's no.
There are
owls. Tons of owls.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's this with Lou's?
Owls are big.
Yeah, they are.
With Lou's, okay, this is a trip, man. So remember, 24 stories from Lou's, but she's also
had 24 incidents. If you're just joining,
just
us
tuning
for the
in,
first,
but she's going to talk about her husband, I believe, at the time.
Well, why don't we roll it?
I'm just trying to see if there's something I need to set up here. I think that's it. It's yeah. Let's see what she says. I'll fill in if there's something else.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we on?
Yeah, it might be a problem with that sound.
Okay.
We'll just play it out.
All right.
Do you know the story?
Yeah, I can tell the story. It's really wild. You want?
Yeah, I think there's a problem with that sound.
Okay.
We have the follow-up.
The interview.
Her second part.
Okay. Well,
something's wrong. So go ahead and tell the story.
Okay. So
tell the story, and then I'll lay it in.
Oh, okay.
Let me get. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and I'll do the time right now, and we'll put it in.
Okay.
Because you know the story.
Yeah.
Let's just do it that way.
Well, so you want me to tell the story?
No.
No.
Hang on.
Let's not tell the story.
Hang on, and we'll do it starting now.
So when I left here, my husband had a security company, and they would do.
I remember that because I started in '99, so I remember that.
Yeah. And so my brother worked for us, and there were a couple times when he had to stay overnight here. And he told me, and this is before power was to this place, and he told me, he had his car parked right out here, and the lights in the boys' wing, I mean, like the rooms would illuminate, like there were lights being turned on. And he said, he didn't understand where that was coming from. Because the first night it happened, when we got here in the morning, he said, hey, someone left the lights on last night. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, the lights in the kids' room in this wing here, they were on. I said, that's impossible. There's no power to the house. The entire house has no power. And he's like, oh, well, they were on. He said in Mrs. Doheny room, the lights would come on there like bright. it'd just be like a bright light in that room too.
Well, now the power that in the earlier days when I started working here, down in the basement you had to throw those handles.
Right.
But when they were thrown, everything was shut off.
Everything was shut off.
So there's no, I don't know if that meant that the
But that
handles
was
were up.
that was fairly new. That I remember I would go down with Ackerman. Charlie. We'd go down there and we'd throw the switches to bring some power on. Yeah, that was before that.
So when your brother would see these lights, the switches were just...
Yeah, there was no power. I mean, everything was locked up. And the production companies were not allowed to go down there. They weren't allowed to tamper with any of the boxes in there. So it was kept locked at all times. And yeah, he said like lights would come on. And I was like, no.
Okay, we're out.
Wow. Okay, so a very strange thing that is also mentioned along with what you just heard is that the guys, several guys who were part of the security staff would see a woman in white at night wandering, and they're looking, going like, how did this woman, solid, how did she get in the park? And she's in a long white dress.
Oh.
What is she doing in the park? Luz says that they think it might have been Gypsy Rose Lee, the stripper.
Did she live nearby?
She lived up top at the top at the parking lot.
How did they come up with that?
Well, because that's where she lived.
Yeah, but
that she had passed.
Yeah,
and that she's still wandering the grounds there. Now it could have been Lucy Doheny. We don't know. I don't know what they didn't say anything specific to her looks or whatever. But there had been rumors before that Gypsy Rose Lee was walking around on that property.
I think I heard that, but it sounded so goofy to me.
And another time at the top parking lot, these guys who were there to work on some show or whatever it was, the guy looked over at each other because they called me. And one guy had said to his buddy, "Did you just see that?" And he's like, "What? Going up the steps. Did you see that woman going up the steps?" That she went up this is out in the top parking lot, where like the tennis court used to be. Going up steps and then just disappeared. It was during the day. It was dusk.
Wow.
Yeah, so things happen like that. It's pretty loose with all the people running around up there. You know?
Yeah. Well, let's hear the follow-up on that one then.
Yeah.
He also said there was a woman dressed in white that they would see on the grounds. And at first, when him and his partner saw this woman, they were like, wait, the park's closed, no one's supposed to be in here. And so they went after her, but she disappeared. Like, they don't know, there weren't any cars, all the gates were locked. He was like, I don't know where she went, where she came from, but she did appear, a few nights in a row, like they would see her. And I said, well, there's stories, of a woman. They think
in white.
In white. Some people would say they think it was Gypsy Rose Lee.
Exactly.
And I said, and it may be her. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think I ruined that for everybody, but because I didn't know that was.
That's okay.
Be the clip.
I messed that up on the first one.
Okay.
That's what happens with a live show.
But isn't that fascinating? though? That really is fascinating. That the lights would come on, and there's no electricity to the building. I mean, that's bizarre. And not only is it that bizarre, but the next story is going to corroborate what you just heard. So we can go. That's with Liddy.
This is Liddy in the boys' wing after a strange night of filming.
Yeah.
Sound quality, horrible.
Okay, all right.
But as we've told everybody, this is not why we did it. We recorded for the book. But
think content. Can we do that?
They can.
Yep. We can.
I'm not doing too well with the content tonight.
That's okay.
That's all right.
We're getting
through
through
the best we can.
Now, let's hear Liddy.
The huge staff we have. I'm gonna blame it on them.
Well, they should have really gone through all this.
They should have listened to it.
Absolutely. Join us and help us.
Let's listen to Liddy.
Okay, let's hear it.
Hopefully she's there.
Dear God.
I would be responsible for the movie shoots and all of anytime, pretty much I closed the house down house, but we had this generator system that would work, and then we had the alarm system. And the alarm system was based off of doors and windows. And so if my recollection is correct, I think the number was 84. And so 50 rooms in the house, doors, and then there was windows in some of those. And so you would have to go through every single night, shut down every door and every window.
Right.
And then you would get to the main door, and you would system on, and then you would have 30 seconds to get out of the house and close the front door and lock it. And then that was it. And if anything, if you couldn't turn the system on if any windows or doors were were open, excuse me. And so it wouldn't even let you walk out of the house. Like, that's how the system worked. And so, it said system. So I turned it on, it said system on, so I could go to walk out of the house. And I walk out of the house, and I made a right. So, if you go kind of under that tunnel, and then you're there at that room again. If you look up, that's where the little playroom was. And that there was a light in there.
Oh.
There's no electricity in the house. There's not be a light working. Like, it just didn't make sense. So I'm sitting there, and I'm by myself, and I'm like, well, this is interesting. But the other ranger was up at the top of the ranger station. So I radio in and say, hey, there's a light on in the house. I'm going to go in and check it out. And he radios, okay. And it was during a movie shoot, so we thought, okay, maybe somebody put a light in there.
Right.
So I go on and I walk in the house, and anytime you walk in the house, you go system off, and it literally would show you, it would tell you if there was something wrong in one of the rooms or something. Nothing was wrong. So I walk upstairs, no light, but the window's open.
Wow.
And I'm like, I couldn't have shut off the system or turned on the system if the window was open. Like, that wouldn't have happened. So, okay. So then I was like, okay. And usually you're trained as a park ranger that if something goes wrong, you got to start talking to Ned, right away. And so for me, I was always having conversations with Ned inside the house. So I said, Ned, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the film crew changed something in your house. I'm not happy about, but I really need to get home. So I'm going to close the window on the alarm, and I'm going to walk away, and everything's going to be good tonight. So again, I close the window, and I double check to make sure that maybe a mirror caught the moonlight. I'm thinking, what could have made a light go on,
Right.
And so go back downstairs, system on, walk out of the house, everything's fine. I get up to the ranger station, and from the ranger station, you can kind of see, and there's 4 lights on. So we go downstairs. By the time we open the house, then there's just this weird, freaky, cold, wind that's going through the house. It was just weird. And so we're like, yeah, screw it. We're going home. That was way beyond, this goes beyond the job description. I'm not going back up there.
Is that crazy?
Oh my gosh.
So that corroborates Lou's story of lights, that the electricity is not on in that building at that time. It's a long time ago, but you couldn't have anything on unless it was battery operated or powered, and they probably didn't have those back then. And so they're thinking it's from the filming company. They left a light on. Now, for her to do that and get the alarm to finally come on and go up the top parking lot, which is not very far away. You just get in the truck and you go up the top parking lot and see that there's an illumination from the house.
That would be freaky.
That wasn't there when you just left, and then you go back.
Well, that's what they're looking for, right?
Right.
Closing up. And
yeah, so you have to go back and say, what is it? But to go to now the illumination is gone, so the spirits know you're coming in, and then when you walk in, what else would it be?
Yeah, they're not playing games or doing any of that stuff. Come on.
God,
Come
I
on.
smack you.
The spirits know.
Come on, that what I'm saying is the truth, right?
Something is off. I mean, the lights are on and all that, but they're not plotting against Liddy and we're going to scare her.
Okay, but it's paranormal.
Yes.
It is paranormal.
I'll go with that.
Okay, so if it's paranormal, what would it be behind the paranormal?
You don't know.
You don't know either,
You don't know.
idiot.
I don't pretend to.
Okay, yeah, obviously. So to go in there and feel a wind and a coldness, which is they're gathering energy, that would be enough for me, man. And that's what's funny about Ivan. Ivan knew not to go back in.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He's like, "No, I don't care. I'm the ranger. I don't even care. I'm closing up and getting out of there."
Yeah.
That's why I love to press them just to see. I love these guys. They're my friends. But I just want to say, so you, like with Steve Clark, did you leave the building before Mary?
Yeah,
and all this stuff? And he asked him, yes,
you,
I did.
You put him on the spot.
Right, because it's fun. It's
I know,
fun.
because you love doing that.
Yes, I do.
You love doing that to people.
How dare you.
All right. Show wrap up.
Already?
I know. It went
Damn.
fast.
Yeah.
We are, this is Chan, and it's the Attic Whisper.
Okay, can I set this up?
Sure.
Okay, listen. I thought about this before this show, or a couple days ago, to talk to Chris about this, knowing that, having gone up to the attic with Chan, talking about the crank, that when I went back and listened to it, and maybe you heard it when we played it, when I went back and I was sitting at home in my headphones, getting the transcriptions done and just listening to what they're saying, something came through during that conversation with Chan, who doesn't want to be up in the attic anyway, but something came through. So let's do that first, and then we'll chat. Can we do that?
Yes.
You cool?
Yes.
Okay.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
It's 9.
Open the panel, put the...
Okay. So it's down, it's low, but you can hear it, and we're going to play it one more time. I want I was going to act like I want to hear what you think. Here, God
Please tell
help
us.
me. Yeah, what did you
We'll
think?
wait.
So go ahead, open the panel and put the, and then something speaks. One more time.
Open the panel, put the...
Now, what do you think that is?
Oh, well,
I mean, it's not.
It's a spirit.
Earthly.
It's,
but what do you think it's saying?
I know what it's saying.
Okay.
Having listened to it for years and putting my headphones on and dialing it way up, it's saying, go ahead, get out. Now, Chan and I are in there talking. He doesn't want to be in there. He's talking about, and I felt this thing, and I look at the door. I know it's there. I don't want to be in there, all this stuff. And he didn't want to do the interview up there either. He wasn't very happy about that.
Right.
But when I listen to that, I'm hearing a spirit say, go ahead, get out. Let's hear it again.
Open the panel, put the...
Is that wild? Do you hear it, right?
Oh, absolutely I do.
Okay.
But I have a surprise.
There's more. Could you dial it up or something?
I did.
What?
It's not just the volume.
Yeah.
I had to do a little. I mean, I'm not an audio expert, but I did work with it. Check this out.
Oh, I hope I'm not horribly embarrassed by this.
No, you won't be.
Okay. I knew that's what it was saying.
That's the best I could do. I couldn't.
That's fantastic.
I'm not an audio guy. So.
That's fantastic, because the other thing was a whisper. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This is a man's voice.
This was trying to drop away the background, so that's why it sounds a little maybe garbled, but
yeah.
Get out is flat out get out.
You can hear the go ahead. You can hear the get out. We didn't know that was being said to us while I'm interviewing him. And it was chilling when I heard it at home. I stopped and whoa, wait a minute. That's not me. That's not Chan.
No, it's just two people.
What is that?
Is that freaky?
What? Good job on that, man. That's awesome.
I could probably do better if I played with it more and more with the dials and things and the little sliders.
That's okay. I mean, you could hear it.
One
you
more
could
time.
Hear that.
Because it is chilling.
Yeah.
Literally, that sounds like you went, get out.
Yeah. Go ahead. Get out. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Is that fantastic?
That's a good sound.
Wow. Chris and I were talking before the show about, wouldn't it be fun to do a show of just sounds? I have 1,000 sounds or whatever, but, I wanted to get some of my favorites for the 20 episodes we're doing. And that was one of them. And then when I realized we're going to be doing Chan up in the attic, I thought, what a great sound to have at the end of that show.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
that
man.
was I was working on that, and it was like, oh my gosh, you could actually hear.
God, that's so good. I'm so excited by that. I didn't know you were going to do that.
Yeah,
awesome,
I know you
man.
Didn't. I know you didn't.
Woo!
I work very hard.
I thought, I know
each
you,
week.
Of course you
to
do.
bring
of
this
course
show
you do.
to our audience.
They don't care. Let me tell you something.
I think they do.
I think they probably. I thought I was going to be embarrassed at somebody saying, you know,
a sale at Walmart.
Yeah, hey, go ahead. You know, we're on whatever it's going to be, and that just clarified exactly what I thought.
Yeah,
it
that's
was.
pretty trippy.
Wow.
Anyway,
so you have to trust me when I say these things. That's what you have to do.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
If you would like, subscribe, ring the bell would help us. And if you have any comments, leave them on YouTube. Feel free. If there are comments that you'd rather tell us about personally, just get a hold of us through our website, ghostsofgreystone.com. You can leave a message there and we'll get back to you. We get back to everybody immediately when they leave comments or reply or anything like that.
Yep.
That would be fun.
From all over the world, by the way.
From all over the world. And we have the book. You can get our book, Clete. You're running late.
I'm late, but look, I got in time.
So distracted.
Get your damn cup out of the way.
So distracted.
Look, oh my gosh.
It's a beautiful book. We have this on sale at our website, ghostsofgreystone.com, and you can order that, and we send a bookmark, a cool bookmark, and a magnet, and free shipping and all that stuff.
Oh, it's good stuff.
All
It's
right,
all good stuff.
Put the book down.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, but I want to say on our next show.
Yes, absolutely.
There are tons.
Some of my favorite stories, by the way, on the next show.
You see this? He's becoming a believer because of you.
I wouldn't go that far, but
that's true.
It is the recreation wing, and
it's nuts.
There's so many stories.
Yeah.
We had to break it into two parts.
Yeah, lots of apparitions in these areas now, and there are like sounds and voices,
right?
And just strange.
Yeah, so we've got the theater.
Strange going on.
The theater, the
Lights.
spiral staircase, and the bowling alley.
Yeah, and
that's got some really trippy stories.
Lights. Oh wow! Wait do you hear these, man?
Yeah.
And a lot of these stories are going to be from people you haven't heard before, so it's not going to be all the Rangers or whatever. These are people because you know why?
No.
Because they had to do renovations on the theater, and that stirred it up.
Okay.
And I knew it was going to happen, and I said that to when things started. I said to Dan, "Get
Ranger
ready, Ranger Dan.
Come on,
get ready." Okay, but hey, you know what? Listen, through all this stuff, we enjoy, really seriously enjoy. Thank you for listening. Enjoy having you here and listening to us gab, but the stories we love doing, and it just shows you that just because you can't see it, just like with Chan, doesn't mean it isn't there. We found that out tonight, didn't we? Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
100 horses in 5 freight trains couldn't drag me into that early grave. I've cashed in the mistakes I've made while God rode shotgun from 1,000,000 miles away. I don't wake in sorrow, I don't walk in shame, I don't deal in hearsay, I don't dwell in blame. Sometimes it's best to forget what I know and what they say, but this ain't that time, and this ain't that day. With the heart of a gypsy and the eyes of a child, I walk these fields and let my love grow wild. Filled with fever, I dare my desire. Don't fear the flame, I walk through the fire. I don't wake in sorrow, I don't walk in shame, I don't deal in hearsay, I don't dwell in blame. Sometimes it's best to forget what I know and what they say. I'll keep riding till the trail grows cold, where the hillsides burn, amber and smoke. The sheep and the shepherd are lost on different roads, blinded by hate, blinded by hope. I don't wake in sorrow, I don't walk in shame, I don't deal in hearsay, I